Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts. We're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, especially when we are winning.
And I'm eating crow this week. And I got to tell you, crow never tasted so good. Having said that, let's go.
All right. Today on the show, the Death Star has opened, and we took the Saints down in the celebration. We talked the game, and we look forward to taking on the Patriots this Sunday.
Get them. Beat them. It was a fumble. Yes. All right. We would love to hear from you, Raider Nation. So here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Or you can also text us at that number. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com. And we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube at The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. Don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get some free Raider merch sent out to you. Also, check out our new website at onlynationpod.com.
Now, we had a new game this past week. It was in Vegas. Homer, could you tell us? I don't know. I heard you were there. Did you happen to catch anything about the game?
Yeah, all weekend long. It was awesome. Vegas was awesome. Everybody was fired up. Raider Nation showed up. People were talking about the opposing teams, fans showing up. It's not going to happen. Raider Nation travels well, so we are going to dominate that stadium. We dominated the parking lots. We dominated the bars. It was a blast. And everybody's excited. And the stadium is beautiful in person. Yes, it looks great in the photos and whatnot, but in person, it's really beautiful. It's huge. It's awesome. And then the Henderson headquarters is awesome also. Shout out to Raider Rob, Stoner Dude, and Black Hole Steph for taking me out there to Henderson after they got me drunk and we recorded that interview. But I got to go see it. It was beautiful. I think I want to move to Vegas.
And we'd like to thank Allegiant Bail Bonds for making sure Homer was able to make it home in time to record this week.
Amen.
I did not go to jail.
Well, no, because we got you bailed out before they could book you.
Well, I appreciate it.
We're here for you, babe. All right. The Raiders broke in Allegiant Stadium with their first victory in their new home.
Oh, yeah. A great win.
Kicking off the day was Carol Davis lighting the Al Davis Memorial Torch. They couldn't have chosen a more perfect person to do the honors.
I'll tell you what, I had a shiver go down my spine and almost a tear in my eye.
No, she's been there from the jump, so it's nice to see her, able to light Al's torch in the new stadium. So that was a beautiful thing to see.
I thought of all the memories they had together in Vegas many years.
Yep.
Yeah, it was, I know I say this a lot, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. That was her husband. She loved him. She dealt with all the time that he would spend on the Raiders. She was there for him. She backed him up. And now she's backing her son up. And yeah, I'm glad she got to light the torch.
Yeah, and she might know more than anyone about the frustration of Al had trying to get a new stadium built.
Oh, yeah.
She saw it from a side that nobody else saw.
And this is her team as much as his, really.
Oh, yeah.
But in a show of solidarity with fans, Mark Davis did not attend the game. He believed that if all the fans couldn't attend, he shouldn't either. It was the first time he had missed a Raiders game since 1963, when he was 8 years old.
Man, that's why I love Mark Davis. He has been a part of the Raiders since he was 8 years old. Think about that. You hear the stories about him in the locker room, that he stayed with Cliff Branch, and now he's the owner, and he brings his mom up to light the torch. Like, the Raiders belong to the Davis family, and I think that's the way it should be. Hopefully, the Davis family continues to own the Raiders for years and decades to come.
Oh, yeah. All right, in the game, after a rocky first quarter, the Raiders came back to win against the Saints, 34-24.
Rocky is being nice.
Yeah, I got close on my score prediction. I had Raiders 31-27. So 3 points each way.
I hit the 34. Yeah, I hit the 34. Almost. I'm glad they didn't give up the other touchdown, though, to get the 31.
Yeah.
I'll take 34-24.
Let me just say I'm glad that I was way off.
Yeah, well, I am too.
Never been so
Just
glad to tell you were wrong.
I was wrong.
All right. Derek Carr played really well in the last 3 quarters. On the game, he was 28 of 38 for 282 yards and 3 touchdowns. After the first 2 weeks of the season, Carr has 521 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 73.5 completion percentage.
Boom. Oh, but he sucks, huh? He's no good. Okay.
Take that, PFF.
Yeah, just give that kid a team and watch us excel. Watch us win. Get back to that commitment to excellence, All right. Josh Jacobs put up another strong performance with 27 carries for 88 yards and 3 receptions for 17 yards. That kid can play. We needed that kind of, player to come out of the backfield and help us win. I like the comparison they were to Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen, the first running back within so many games to get, so many 1,000 and some odd yards. That's good company right there. Bo Jackson's my favorite player. I thought that the comparisons to him and Marcus Allen were pretty spot on because, he was the best running back I've seen us have for a long time. Definitely since, Kaufman and Gardner,
Oh, yeah.
To see him up there with Marcus and Bo, that's promising.
He is the man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's greatly outdone their performance in the first 15 games of their career. He's like 13-something rushing yards, and Bo and Marcus are around 1,000.
Yeah. 50 who, as Captain would say. 50 who. Now, I just want to toot my own horn for a little while because, remember, this is how I got the Raider Homer moniker. All right, is when we traded Khalil Mack, and everybody was all pissed off. And I said, no, dude, this is what the team needed to do. He didn't want to take the money that we offered him. All right, it was only like a $12 million difference. All right, and we need to build a team. If he doesn't want to be here, get rid of his ass, man. We need guys that want to play here. And you're being a homer. You're being a homer. So put 2 and 2 together with the memes that were floating around, a homer in the Raider garb, and went with it. But 50 who, all right? We got a solid player in Arnett right now, even though we were talking earlier before the show, and he got yanked at first, but he went back in, he got 7 tackles. And then we just talked about Josh Jacobs. Those are the kind of players that can help us win a Super Bowl. Khalil Mack, he was all about the money. It's not like he was going to take less money, to help us win. He just wanted the money. And now, farewell. Good luck in Chicago, But I'm glad that we did trade him and do what was best for the team.
Now we have a team.
Yeah, we're building the team. All right, anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox, all right? 11 different receivers caught a pass led by tight end Darren Waller with 12 receptions for 103 yards and a touchdown. Henry Ruggs didn't show up much on the stat sheet with 1 reception for 4 yards, but his presence kept the Saints on their toes and opened up the underneath and mid-range passes. Yes, perfect. That's what he's there for. And Brian Edwards added 2 huge receptions for 42 yards. I love that one he snatched out of the air. I thought he dropped it for a second, but he just snatched it out of the air, turned around real quick, and went down the field. That kid looks pretty good, too. Fullback Alec Ingold pulled in the first Raiders touchdown scored at Allegiant Stadium with the Spider 2 Y banana. What is it?
Yeah, that's
Spider
it.
Y 2 banana?
Yeah, Homer and I were talking before the broadcast of the show. Reminded me very much of both John Ritchie and Mike Allstott.
Oh, yeah. Just no blood as far as Ritchie.
I think it's Spider.
Ritchie comparison.
Spider 2 Y banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider 2 Y banana.
And fun fact, if you look closely at the logo for our podcast, might be able to figure out what play is up there.
Nice.
Starts with spider, ends with banana.
Ends with the touchdown. All right, Zay Jones caught only 1 pass for 15 yards, but it was for a touchdown. Great placement by Derek Carr. That was from beyond 20 yards, y'all. All those naysayers out there. That was perfect touch, perfect placement beyond 20 yards from Derek Carr. Zay Jones, I love how he got that one hand under it, pinned it to his body, and they couldn't overturn it. Even though that ball did touch the ground, he had possession.
I was glad to see him get a touch.
Yeah, and he just collapsed to just make sure that enough of him got into the end zone for it to be inbounds.
Right. And Hunter Renfrow. What can you say about this kid except I'm glad we got this kid, right? Hunter Renfrow added a solid 37 yards on 3 receptions in the clutch, man. That kid's always in the middle, working the middle of that field. I love it. I love seeing it.
Let me ask you all a question. How many fifth-round draft picks out there in the NFL are as valuable to their team as our fifth-round draft pick?
Not too many.
Not many at all. Yeah. All right, on defense, Damon Arnett and Nicholas Morrow had 7 tackles. Morrow also made a huge interception just before halftime, which gave us the momentum, and, we were able to tie it. So I'm happy to see him finally catch the ball, right? He could have changed the game last week to our versus Carolina, but he came through this week, and we basically went back to 0 on the scoreboard at 17-17 at the half. Now, LaMarcus Joyner had a strong game and came in with 6 tackles. I've been calling for this guy. He just needs to keep performing like that, and we will win. Our defense will get better with the nickel cornerback like him.
I hope he keeps it up because I would love to say I was wrong about him.
Listen, Homer, can we get these guys to just teach your guy, Eric Harris, how to tackle and wrap up?
Hey, man. Come on, Harris. You got to tackle and wrap up.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear this, man. My fingers are crossed for you, brother. Come on. After giving Raider Nation a near heart attack by running into the camera rig, Jonathan Abram added 4 tackles. One big shortcoming on defense was a lack of pressure on Drew Brees, resulting in no sacks. Let's go back to Abram. What is that kid doing, man? Did he get knocked out, or did he just hurt his shoulder and lay there?
Yeah,
because I didn't see his head hit the rig.
Yeah, his head in and hit the rig. His shoulder crashed into it pretty hard, and he just kind of laid there. I think he was just stunned and shaken up.
Yeah, but he was worried about his shoulder.
But my heart stopped when I first saw it. When I first saw him just laying there.
Rumor has it that one of his teammates ran over to him and said, "Just lay there. It's a TV timeout."
Oh, hey, it wouldn't surprise me with the kind of guys that they're drafting. They're drafting smart football players. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
I think the camera rig is on IR now.
Oh, yeah. I saw that meme.
What was that thing doing so close to the field, though?
I don't know.
I don't know. It won't be there anymore, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding. There's no reason it couldn't have been 15 feet farther back. Those cameras are capable of zooming up pretty good.
That's something that would happen at a Chargers game.
Now, the shortcoming on defense, as I just mentioned, was the lack of pressure on Drew Brees, resulting in no sacks. Now, man, we have got to fix that. This secondary is actually pretty good. Corey Littleton played a hell of a game, too. So we got a good linebacking core. We got a good secondary. This defensive line has to show up. They got to start getting off of their blocks. Get some spin moves in there. Get that stiff arm, that bull rush, whatever you got to do. We talked all off season about Rodney Marinelli and being the potential replacement for Gunther. But if he can't get this offensive line, our defensive line where they need to be, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be around long. But hopefully he can get them going.
And kicker?
Okay, well, I was just giving y'all room to say something. Sorry.
Well, no, I was just actually thinking where I should put it in was because I didn't actually put it in on the spreadsheet. The rushing touchdown by Jalen Richard.
Oh yeah,
he definitely redeemed himself, but man, he pissed off Gruden and everyone almost on the planet with that fumble. I know that Carr got credit for the fumble because he was the quarterback. That's a stupid rule. But that was 100% on Jalen Richard.
And you could just hear the air go out of the collective Raider Nation balloon when that happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was standing right there next to Gorilla Rilla, and he just like, oh, my God, not again, But, yeah.
Defense stepped up, though.
The whole room got quiet after that.
Yeah, defense stepped up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we got a good secondary. We got a really good secondary. We got a solid linebacking core. We just need the defensive ends and the defensive tackles to come through.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But you know what? Kicker Daniel Carlson had another standout day, icing the game on a 54-yard field goal with 4 minutes left in the game. On the night, he was 2-2 on field goals and made all 4 PATs. Man, that kid has bounced back from the end of last year. Looking good.
Yes, he has. I love it because I like that kid.
Yeah.
I was wrong again when they were lining up for the field goal. I'm like, no, punt the ball and let the defense hold. But I was wrong. Happily, I was wrong.
Now, is it true that he had a child on that same day?
That was what was announced. I have not seen an
congratulations.
official announcement on it yet, but apparently Derek Carr said in his post-game press conference that Daniel and his wife were having a baby that night.
That's awesome. What a day for him.
Absolutely.
So congratulations, Carlsons.
Now, we're all concerned about injuries. Injuries are starting to mount up, and the Raiders did all this, and they beat New Orleans with 2 starters out. Now, Nick Kwiatkowski and Trent Brown were both out with injuries. Now, Trent Brown continues to be out with a calf injury. Nick Kwiatkowski is out with a pec injury. The rumor has it that the dude, as we call him, is possibly going to be suiting up for this week. We don't know. Their status both remains up in the air, but we'll just have to wait and see and keep our fingers crossed. Now, Richie Incognito left the game in the first quarter of the New Orleans game with an Achilles injury, but tests revealed that there was no tear or rupture in the tendon. Now, his injury is not considered serious, but he had to be placed on injured reserve. He's going to be gone at least for 3 weeks, but could be back. Now, in a corresponding move, journeyman guard Patrick Omame has been elevated to the active roster from the practice squad. Now, he was an undrafted free agent in the year 2013. He's a journeyman. He's played with 7 different teams. So he's added depth, and that's what you need on the offensive line.
You know, you've been eating crow a lot, but didn't you also mention John Simpson being a really good guard? I mean, he stepped in and played well.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So good call.
Well, every once in a while I have one. Now Jonathan Abram, as we mentioned earlier, underwent further tests on his right shoulder, which was struck in his collision with the TV rig. X-rays were negative, and of course, as we all saw, as we're holding our collective breaths, he got up and ran off the field on his own power and continued to play. So fingers crossed that things are going to continue to go well for Jonathan Abram. He is such a baller. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He's great.
Now, after the game, head coaches John Gruden and Sean Payton both were fined $100,000, and their teams were each fined $250,000 for not wearing their face masks during the game properly. What are you going to say?
The NFL wants that money.
I'm not even sure I can
make
comment
that money
on
back
further.
somehow.
Yeah.
Well, they were pre-warned because those other 3 coaches were fined on Monday before the game. That they were fined $100,000 too, so they knew the precedent had been set, and they did it. So
this is where we still need Jack Tatum. I remember years ago when Jack Tatum used to be the uniform patrolman, and he would go up and make sure that people were wearing things properly. And Jack Tatum is not a guy I would argue with.
No,
absolutely
never.
Not.
If he were to go up and tell John Gruden, put your mask on, I think he would probably do it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, fun fact, Angria Trask was wearing her Jack Tatum jersey on Monday night.
Nice.
So
cool.
Now we've got a lucky Jack Tatum jersey that needs to be worn.
There we go.
The mother of Little Jack the Assassin wearing her Jack Tatum's jersey.
Speaking of the game, the TV ratings for Monday night's game were fantastic. Now, in a 31% year-over-year increase, the game drew 15.5 million viewers on average. Now, locally, Las Vegas scored its highest local rating for a Monday night football game in a decade, delivering a 22.1 local rating. Now, this tells me 2 things. Number 1, it tells me that Vegas is definitely a Raiders market. And number 2, when the Raiders are better, the league benefits.
He's better.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw it in person. Like I was saying earlier, Raider Nation showed up. COVID or not, we showed up. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like when there is no COVID. It's going to be a sea of silver and black, you know. And one thing real quick before we get into Heidi's High Five, I want to talk about John Gruden getting this young team excited. You know, the NFL or a lot of the talking heads around the league and whatnot, they were questioning whether he could actually do that. And then you see in these post-game celebrations that he has this team fired up and ready into him. And I loved when he was walking off the field and he gives Mike Mayock a shove. You know, that John Gruden has that kind of fire that we need. And yes, that's the kind of fire that Vegas needs, to bring it back to what we were just talking about. That kind of stuff makes people want to watch the Raiders. And that's a great thing because we're coming back. We're 2-0. We got a shot. If we could beat the Saints, we got a shot to make the playoffs this year.
Homer, you know what's back? Swagger.
Raiders.
Swagger.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly the word I was thinking of.
We have swagger.
Mm-hmm.
And Carr's got it back too.
Yes, he does. He even though he got sacked, they said he ran into it, but he got hit. He got hit well, and he got up. That's the thing, is he knows his body's back now. All right, and then later in the game, he tries to step up and run, but he's just not that running kind of quarterback. He's a pocket passer, but he believes in his body again. So yeah, he's got the swagger back.
Yeah, but not all those sacks were on him. He got swallowed up in at least one of them that he didn't really have a prayer.
Yeah, but he bounced right back up.
And that brings us to Heidi's High Five.
All right, here is this week's version of Heidi's High Five. Number one, I think not being big enough along the defensive front line hurt the New England Patriots last week against Seattle. And I think it's going to hurt them again as they line up across from Josh Jacobs and one of the better running games thus far in the entire NFL. Now, the linebacking core for New England just didn't show up last week, which historically is something that is all too familiar for the Raiders. We'll see if that continues on Sunday. For the Patriots, that is. Number two, the young defensive backfield for the Raiders bent but didn't break against New Orleans. But now Cam Newton brings a different set of challenges for the young Raiders secondary. This week, the Raider front line will need to make sure that it doesn't break contain and that the pressure gets to Cam. A couple of hard hits on the quarterback could make a difference early, and maybe another pick. Number three, the basic attack for the Raiders will be the run, setting up the efficient passing of Derek Carr. If the Raiders can come close to replicating the 35 points that Seattle put up against the same Patriots defense last week, and you add in the fact that there will not be a lot of crazy crowd noise up in Foxborough, the momentum of a 2-0 record should be able to counterbalance the cross-country trip and help the Silver and Black emerge with a 3-0 record. Number four, special teams. I like the fact that the Raiders have a kicker in whom they can rely. The confidence is there, and if it comes down to a field goal late, I'm confident that the Raiders have the advantage. As much as I like the Carlson's leg, however, I'd much rather see him just kick extra points all day. And number five, turnovers and penalties. Ball security and sound fundamentals have to stay as the highest priority for this Raider team. Now, Derek will throw a couple of picks this year, but hopefully it will not happen this week. Also, the Raider defense has shown that it can survive giving up a fumble, Jalen, and remain firm. Now, let's just keep it clean on Sunday. Just a few things to look for, and that is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
Cool. Thank you.
It's going to be interesting to see how Bill Belichick wants to attack the Raiders, because we do have a high-powered, high-flying offense. Josh Jacobs can run the ball, and Derek Carr proves that he can spread the ball. So I'm interested to see how Bill Belichick's who's going to want to stop. Does he stop Darren Waller, or does he stop Josh Jacobs? Could this be Ruggs' game or Edwards' game? So this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Some of the experts have already said that Stephon Gilmore, who is clearly the Patriots' best defender, is going to be shadowing our guy Waller all day. Now, if that takes him out, if that takes him out, then the other weapons just have to step up. You could get a big game out of Brian Edwards. You could get more out of Hunter Renfrow. You could get more out of Josh Jacobs, both running the ball and coming out of the backfield. And we've gotten the other weapons in the game too. We've had key receptions by Zay Jones now, and also by Nelson Aguilar, and even by Alec Ingold. So lots of other weapons are getting into the game.
And hopefully Ruggs will be back up to normal speed.
Yeah, I didn't even mention his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the Patriots' small defensive line. Maybe this is the game to do the 3 tight end sets at maximum, or the most that we can run, without being one-dimensional. Maybe this is the game to actually really just ground, pound and ground, or ground and pound, and run right at them.
They could do that because they really did not step up last week. They got manhandled on the front.
Yeah. The one thing that worries me, though, is they lost last week. How many times does Bill Belichick lose twice in a row?
Well, he doesn't have Brady anymore. Those two were the ultimate pairing.
Yeah, they were.
Coach and quarterback.
Yeah.
And so, you can see Brady. I think they bounced back, but, the Patriots started out strong, but they're not the same.
Well, they had a chance to win the game at the end. It was just sorry play calling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Patriots and the Seahawks have had some great games over the last few years.
it was amazing that it came down to the 1 yard line once again.
There was a lot of good football on this past weekend. I was really, really glued to the set. That that Cowboys Falcons game.
Oh.
Falcons blew a 20-point lead. At least something was typical in 2020.
That's true.
Oh my God.
Dang.
That's true.
All right. Any other thoughts on the Patriots game?
Well, I will throw in my 2 cents worth here. First of all, 2 consecutive wins and 2 consecutive 34-point performances have me drinking the Kool-Aid. Now, I was wrong in my projection for last week, and I didn't believe that the Raiders could pick up the win in Vegas, and they proved me wrong, and I'll tell you now, I could not be happier. The Raiders are the hot topic right now, and the team's no longer a well-kept secret to anybody. The offense has been cooking with grease, and the defense has proven that it can bend without breaking. Now, last week, I said that the 2 keys to victory against New Orleans would be ball control, that's time of possession, and turnovers, and the Raiders did well on both fronts, even in spite of the Jalen Richard fumble. This week, the short passing game will set up the run, and both will do well, I think. 4 touchdowns equals 28 points. And as amazing it would be to have 3 consecutive weeks, 30 or more points, I see them coming up just short on Sunday, but still with a win. So I'm calling it 28-20 for the Raiders.
Okay, and I was going to toss in 27-21 Raiders.
I'll probably go with like 24-17 Raiders, something like that. I think Gruden, if the Patriots do have a small defensive line, he's going to want to run at them. He loves to run the ball. So I think that it's going to be a low-scoring game. Gruden's going to want to run the ball down their throat and, just not even give Cam Newton a chance to beat us at all, as much as possible. So I'm thinking, a low-scoring game.
And I'll make sure to wash my Bo Jackson jersey shirt, so it will be ready for the game. And I'll toss Angry as Tatum shirt in there with it, just to make sure we're both ready.
And I'll be wearing my Fred Biletnikoff jersey.
Perfect.
Nice. I'm going to be wearing my The Black Hole t-shirt at the South Austin Beer Garden, watching the game with the Black Hole.
Are you not going to wear your new Derek Carr jersey?
No, that's autographed. Shout out to Raider Demon King. I appreciate that, brother. I love you, man. So I really do appreciate that. Was something special. We're sitting there at the mall, and I'm just kind of relaxed, and he just throws the jersey at me. He's like, there. That came up on, I think it was Captain Jack's show. We were talking about wearing Derek Carr jerseys when the Raiders started winning again. And, everybody's like, where's yours? Where's yours? Well, mine got stolen, but guess what? Demon King came through and gave me an autographed Derek Carr jersey. So that one's going right up next to Bo Jackson's autographed jersey.
Yeah, I knew you'd want to mention that. That's why I wanted to make sure to throw that out to you.
Yeah, 2 of my favorite Raiders of all time. You know what? I'll take it.
Nice.
All right, give us a call at 904-701-8667. We have some calls this week, so we want to make sure that y'all are heard here on the podcast, the Only Nation podcast, that is, so that y'all can be a part of the show. We love hearing from y'all, so give us a call at 904-701-8667. You can leave us a voicemail or a text message at that number, or send us a message via social media, and we will share your thoughts. And like I said a minute ago, we have a couple of phone calls this week, so let's get to them.
All right.
Only Nation Podcast. This is your friend, Raider Steve, Richmond, VA, calling because I have recently discovered your podcast. And I have to tell you, I'm fixing to bust out your second podcast, and I had to call you because I loved your first one so fucking much. Can I say that? I loved your first one so much.
Yes.
Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to the next one that I'm getting ready to listen to. But tomorrow night, I'm out of town. I'm still with friends, and my friends are fucking runs, and I love them like nobody's business. And the Saints are my second team. But we know the Raiders are going to win that game tomorrow night, right? You know it. I know it. I think my friends might know it. I hope my friends don't choke me out in the middle of the night, maybe twice my throat. But it's all good, man. It's all good. The Raiders are going to win this game against the Saints. I hate to say it, but in Las Vegas, because I believe the spiritual home of the Raiders is always going to be in Oakland. Nonetheless, I listened to y'all's first podcast. Well, I don't know. It might be fucking 17th podcast for all I friggin' know. I listened to your other podcast last week 3 times because it was so good. It was good for the world. Raiders, baby. We're going to do it tomorrow. Fist bump. I'll be in touch.
All right, Raider Steve, thank you. Calling the game before we had it. Nailed it.
He said he knew they were going to win. He knows more than I do. You need to put him in place of me.
I was going to say, I didn't want to take a jab at you.
Hey, Homer, it's okay because I have my nice plate of filet crow right here in front of me.
Hey, Raider Steve, man, thanks for calling the show, man. Yeah, and, believing in the team, that's awesome. Calling the shots, like Babe Ruth, swinging for the fences. But I'll tell you what, though, I don't know about second team, but you know what? You still sound like you'd be fun to drink with.
I was going to say something about that, but then I was like, nah, he called the win, so I'll let it slide this time.
Well, I'm an asshole, so I'll say something.
You got that right.
I'll have to pay him a visit. Richmond, Virginia.
I said that awfully fast.
Richmond, Virginia is my neck of the woods. I need to go pay him a visit.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Yeah, so Steve, we're looking forward to hearing from you every week, man. Come with it.
Yeah.
Keep calling the game so we can go undefeated.
And send in your address so we can get you some swag.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Here is our next one.
Hi. This is Craig from Oklahoma. I was just kind of wondering, with Trent Brown, do we go ahead and release him when he's no longer dead cap space? I mean, he really hasn't seen the field much in the silver and black. He's played 12 games, but in those 12 games, he's come out a few times. I'm starting to lose patience with him, and it seemed like John Gruden was too. So, give me your thoughts on that. Thank you, guys.
Oh boy, I'm going to let Homer field this one first.
I mean, look, the bar's been set. As far as in my mind, the bar's been set by the Raider Nation. We wanted Derek Carr to come out with a broken back or an injured back and play lights out. So there's no reason that Trent Brown can't do the same thing. I don't want to have any. I don't want to hear he's got a hurt leg, this and that. You got to play hurt in the NFL if you want to win. And he is making a lot of money. He's the highest paid player on the team. So people used to say, well, Derek Carr's the highest paid player on the team. He's got to do this. He's got to do better. Well, let's just hold Trent Brown to the same standard. And if we can get rid of him next year, I would. Because you know what? On the sideline, he looked like he did not give a shit. He was just looking around. He didn't care. He did that dude. And the rumors are coming out that he doesn't even want to be a Raider anymore. That's why good teams let him go. You know what I mean? That guy, and it's sad to say because he's from Bastrop, Texas, right down the road from me. I always root for Texas, players are, Raider players that are from Texas. But he's embarrassing me, as a Texan. Like, dude, you got paid, you got your little Super Bowl ring, and you got paid, and now what? You're done? You're just gonna, worry about not getting hurt more? Dude, people play hurt all the time. All the time. Jim Otto, if you want to look at what a real lineman is, Trent Brown, go watch Jim Otto. That's why he's a legend. And you will be forgotten 5 years after you retire.
And Homer, you're right. I mean, whether he's injured or not, he may be injured. Maybe he can't go. And I get that. We don't know the extent. We don't know the extent of whatever the injury is or how long he's going to be out. But you're right. He was on the sidelines. He was just sitting there like he was pouting. He was not invested at all. If that had been Brady, if that had been Derek Carr, if it had been anybody else, Jonathan Abram, he would have been on the sidelines cheering up his team and pumping up his teammates. But this guy, he's not invested at all. And I take back everything that I said in the offseason about Gabe Jackson. We were talking about trading him, but he is proving his worth for the team quietly, not making a big stink and actually playing well. So let me take back everything bad I said about Gabe Jackson earlier. And I don't want to heap it on Trent Brown, but Trent, you have it coming right now.
He absolutely does. And I think my big issue with him is his attitude on the sidelines. I can almost understand them being really cautious about him. He's a really big guy. Don't want a calf strain to turn into an Achilles injury. But come on. Get a little bit excited. Get a little bit focused. Talk to your teammates.
As big as he is, his legs are not that big.
Yeah, talk to your teammates. Talk strategy. Talk what you see out on the field. Cheer a little bit. Don't look like the guy that didn't get picked for the kickball team.
Yeah,
absolutely.
By the way, there's no dead cap hit on his contract next year.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
I think they're gonna let him go.
He may play himself out.
They let go. They let Khalil Mack walk. That set the standard right there. That let the whole franchise know that, hey, if you don't want to be here, you can go. Same thing with Amari Cooper, Bruce Irvin, right? Marquette King doing his little clown act. He gone. We're not doing that. That's not the Raider way anymore. All right. This is the Raider way. Are people that want to play for this team, that give everything they got. They'll play hurt. They'll play injured. And they don't want to come out of the game. Those are the kind of players that they're looking for. And Trent Brown has proven not to be that kind of player in my mind.
Yeah, and he's not even going to want to stick around because next year his base salary with his workout bonus, the cap hit at $14 million. So it's a $7.5 million decrease. He's not going to want to stick around.
No.
He'll hold out. He's going to be one of those guys that holds out for a new contract and all that, So just trade his ass. Maybe even trade him this year. See what you can get for him. Maybe you can get a second or a third. Because if Good's playing good on the at tackle and Jon Snow's supposed to be coming back, they said he's walking around on that growing injury. And then because like Simpson, we just talked about him earlier, right? He came in, he played well at guard. So you got a backup guard right there, so you can put Good on the outside. Maybe even let go of Brandon Parker and trade him or whatnot. See what you can get for him. Because Good, Simpson's playing that well, and Good stepping in at right tackle and playing that well shows you that you have some good offensive linemen right there. So I'd like to see some movements made with Trent Brown. That's for sure. Let's get what we can get for this guy. You don't want to be a Raider? Fine. We'll trade your ass. But we don't want you here.
I will just float this out there. There are still some 4th, 5th, and 6th round draft picks who are either stashed away on practice squads or we're not getting really a whole lot of buzz about right now, but they could very easily be added to some good depth pieces. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. How about we have another rendition of Homer Did You Know?
All right.
Easy
now,
this time?
It's actually pretty easy. You might actually get this one. Now, with the upcoming matchup with the Patriots, I wanted to look back at the matchups between the two teams. Now, in the Tom Brady era at New England, there's only been one time that the Raiders and Patriots played each other without Brady under center. And you may remember that was when Matt Castle started in the place of the injured Brady in the year 2008. Before that, do you know the last time a non-Tom Brady-led Patriots team faced the Raiders?
Well, it would have been when Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback.
You got it. But now you have to go.
Yeah,
there you go. But now listen to this. You have to go all the way back to the year 1994, which is Bledsoe's third year in the league. That's the last time that they played, and you had a non-Tom Brady-led Patriots team. And the Raiders faced Drew Bledsoe, the only time in his NFL career that he started against the Raiders. And it was when the Raiders were in L.A. Now, here's a bonus question. Who were the two coaches that day?
Oh, my God. In 94, it would have been Joe Bugle.
For the Raiders, it was Art Shell.
Oh, man.
Art Shell 1.0.
Man.
See if you can get the Patriots one.
Bill Parcells.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct, sir.
Hey, you
but
got
how did
one.
I miss? I'm so in trouble. I missed the Art Shell, but I got the Parcells question. Oh my God!
See,
I'm sorry, Raider Nation.
I told you at least get part of this one correct, though. Got to give you some points there.
Jesus.
Hey, ask any Patriot fan who the quarterback was before Tom Brady. 9 out of 10 of them aren't going to be able to tell you.
There you go.
It's sad that I can tell you though. Delete all that. Take all that out.
What?
We'll
be getting the Patriots trivia questions right.
You're getting that one right. That one's going in.
You'll just have to say the name Art Shell. We'll dub it in as an afterthought.
Well, I thought Art Shell was gone like in 93, but then it would have been Mike White after him, right? And then it was Joe Bugle. So either way, I messed up. My bad, Raider Nation. That was terrible.
But you got part of it right.
But I got the wrong part of it right.
But it was still right.
God damn.
However, you were 2 out of 3. You were 2 out of 3 on that question.
Being right can be so wrong.
All right, let's move on to the best segment of the show, I guess. Please help me out here. Save me.
Heidi's Heroes.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
All right, this week we've got a couple heroes. We've got a game hero. And I'm just going to say it. Darren Waller was simply unstoppable this past game. As we already talked about, he had 12 receptions for 103 yards and a touchdown. His performance, along with who he is as a person and what he's overcome in his life with sobriety, makes him an easy Heidi's hero this week. Second hero, though, is someone very close to this show. I'm going to embarrass T3 for a moment and tell you about something that he and his wife Carolyn have been up to for the last 8 years. Back in 2004, they adopted their beloved golden retriever corgi mix, Marigold. She was a sweet dog that had to overcome some emotional damage and transformed into their dream fur child. Sadly, they lost her in 2011 to lymphoma. In her memory, they wanted to hold a fundraiser for the rescuers that had brought them together. In 2012, they held their first 3-hour Pups and Pints fundraiser at the Dogfish Head Ale House. In that short event, they raised $1,100 for her rescuers. The event became an annual tradition. It's now a huge community event with a 5K race and all-day-long fundraiser at the restaurant. Since 2012, they've managed to raise an amazing $98,000 for Marigold's rescuers, the Homeless Animals Rescue Team, or HART. This year, due to COVID-19 restrictions, they are holding a virtual 5K race instead. It will be held from October 25th through the 31st. I'd like to invite everyone to check out their website to find out more about this great event. You can find it at PNP5K. That's P as in Paul, N as in Nancy, P as in Paul, 5K.com. Consider doing the 5K or sending a donation to such a worthy cause. T3 and Carolyn Jones, you're both my heroes this week.
Thank you. And I'd like to add one thing. Not only do I know this woman and she is my hero, but we have a special offering for listeners of this show. If you register for Pups and Pints at pnp5k.com, it's normally a $35 registration. If you register and you log in the promo code NATION, you get a $5 discount and you're still helping out the homeless animals. So sign on to pnp5k.com, enter the promotional code NATION, as in only nation, and get $5 off. And you're helping out the homeless animals at the same time.
Well, that sounds like something I'm going to do.
Right. And my condolences on your dog. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'll tell you what, she lives on, and every time we do the fundraiser, we roll out the pictures and everything else. So she lives on and continues to help out other dogs and their rescuers as well. Carolyn even has Marigold's paw print tattooed on her calf.
Sweet.
Aw, I love that. I love that. Thanks again to our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast.
Remember, Raider Nation, give us a call at 904-701-8667. The season's here. We're 2-0. We want to hear from you. How are you feeling about this year? How are you feeling about these upcoming games, the previous games? Let us know what you think. You can leave us a voicemail or send us a text message to that number. You can also reach us at onlynationpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. Be sure to find us on Facebook and YouTube. Search The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. Don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some free Raider swag sent out to you. Also, check out our new website at onlynationpod.com.
Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Shout out to Pups and Pints, my peeps at Dogfish Head Ale House, and Raider Nation for life.